going on, everybody? Digital Falcon here. This is my first YouTube video commentary. I'm new at this, obviously, so I'm gonna try to get through this as painless as possible. So just bear with me. What I want to talk about are these fools in the gaming community that I see in these gaming Facebook groups and the gaming YouTube community. Um, I see these guys bashing games because they're not AAA. They're not sold on shelves. They're smaller games. Um, I why is this happening? Huh? Um, where did this come from? When I was younger, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era, we didn't, or I didn't see that stuff. We had fanboys. We would fight on the playground and all that stuff. Talk about, oh, the Super Nintendo is better than the Genesis, and the Genesis is better than the Super Nintendo. Vice versa, all day, every day. But now it's boiling over in the gaming community with people that don't have any knowledge of what they are talking about. People that don't know that some of these big multi-billion-dollar franchises came from games that by today's standards would be called indie or very small. For example, the game that you see here, Amplitude, is a remake of a PS2 game also called Amplitude, which was a sequel to a game called Frequency, made by Harmonix. Alright, I don't know why people bash games like this. I really don't understand. But what I really want to get down to is where did this come from? What is the source of this poison in the community? And I think I have an idea where it came from. Now, I might get a lot of flack for saying what I'm about to say, but this is just how I feel and what I've been seeing. I think this came from the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era. Specifically, those gamers from the 360 side. And I'm going to say why. In the PS2 era and before, people played games. We just played games, we argued about games. But games weren't quote-unquote cool, by the mainstream. People were made fun of for playing games. You were a nerd. You were this, you were that. And then, Microsoft came along with the original Xbox in the PS2 era. The PS2 and Xbox era. And, they did their thing. They brought in the subscriptions and got people to pay monthly for playing online and stuff like that. They bought online to the mainstream. And I give them credit for that. But then you had the 360 era, right? 360 PS3 came out. Now, the way the 360 was marketed, along with the games that was marketed, I want to say the Halo 2s, the Call of Duties, right? When Call of Duty 4 came out, it was this big deal. It was this big game, big marketing, and then we had the rise of the AAA blockbuster game. Now, why does this matter? This matters because it brought in a new type of gamer. People that didn't play games, people that didn't find games cool, started playing video games now. Sales started skyrocketing. All these people playing these new crazy games, they weren't exposed to the games that came out years before. So when they think of games, when they play video games, it's the games that they know and see. Call of Duties, Halos, etc. Now, I know everybody's going to think, oh, I'm trying to bash Xbox and all this and that. I'm not bashing Xbox. What I'm talking about, I'm describing the byproduct of that era. How Microsoft, as a company, how they pushed gaming, how they, made gaming very, friendly to people coming in. You know, they made it cool. Microsoft made gaming cool to the mainstream people, in my opinion. And these people that got in, you know, they they didn't have any knowledge, any history. You know, they just play what they saw on TV. Didn't have any knowledge of, you know, the games we played years before. So that was all they were exposed to. And over the years, you know, they were playing the Halos, the Call of Duties, Medal of Honor didn't sell that well. But basically, what people now know is Dude Bro. Madden, you know, people, I guess, toss that in the Dude Bro column. So, you know, you had years of that, and eventually fatigue, I guess, at least in the perception of these games, started setting in. People are, oh, Call of Duty is not cool, blah, 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 blah. Halo, the Maddens, and I guess as this gen started approaching, I guess fatigue started setting in a bit. Not in sales, but I guess the perception of these games to the mainstream audience. So, you know, when PS4 came out and Xbox One, obviously PS4 and Xbox One came out at the same time this time. It didn't have a year. 360 had a year head start on the PS3. That wasn't the case with the Xbox One over the PS4. So, you know, Microsoft and Sony, they have different ways of approaching the industry as far as their games. You know, the way they market things. Sony, you know, they market the type of games they market. I would say it's a more diverse setup of games, a more diverse array of games than Microsoft. At least when it comes to pushing the games out there, you know. That's the perception. So I think these people that didn't have that knowledge of gaming prior to, you know, the AAA era, whatever you want to call it, they started seeing these games, you know, these indies, these smaller games. They really started seeing that in a bigger light, so to speak, you know, because games like Call of Duty and Halo, they're still big games, but they're sharing the spotlight now with a lot of smaller games, you know. So they're, you know, the people that, so they're exposed to these games that they haven't really seen before, or they didn't want to see before, and it's being pushed, you know, in a bigger light, and they just don't know how to react to it, you know. It's foreign to them. Now they have a voice on the internet, and they go on there and, what is this Jap crap? What is this indie trash? Blah 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 blah. And if you ask them, and you test them on some gaming knowledge, they don't know anything. Like, these guys don't know. They don't have any recollection of who made what. And if you ask them, you know, what the history of that game is, what type of genre it spawned from, or where it came from, they have no idea. Like, they don't know anything, and they just get mad and they start replying with, you know, either memes or just ignorant comments. So I think we're seeing remnants of, well, maybe not remnants, but I think we're just seeing people that never really were into gaming until recently, and now that, you know, they see things that they never really saw before being pushed a bit, that they're just lashing out. I think that's all that is. I don't want to say they're non-gamers. A lot of them are, though. A lot of them are non-gamers in these groups that are just there to post stupid shit. But I would say a lot of these haven't gamed that long in the grand scheme of things. And I don't want to say that they're non-gamers. A lot of them do game. Even though a lot of them don't play games at all. A lot of them, I believe, they just want to feel part of something, and the easiest way is to, I don't know, jump on the side of ignorance.